Basic wall styles are used for a wide variety of different types of walls in Revit, and they're by far the most used walls in the program. To draw in some basic walls, let's begin by making sure that we're underneath level 1 on floor plans in the project browser. Now, the reason I'm going to be on level 1 is when we draw these walls in our project, I want the base or the bottom of the walls to be at the elevation of level 1. Then I'm going to have the tops of these walls either go up to level 2, level 3, or as high as level 5, their own different elevations. Let's take a look here at those heights by coming underneath elevations and then double-clicking on south in the project browser. Now, if you zoom in on the different levels over on the right-hand side, you'll see that level 1's at 0 feet 0 inches, and that's where the bottom of each of these walls is going to be located at. Level 2's at the 10-foot mark, level 3's at 20, level 4's at 30, and then level 5, which is going to be the top of the parapet or the top of the exterior walls, is going to be all the way up at 33 feet in the air. Now, click on the X in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to close down the south elevation view. Now we want to draw in some regular walls here in our view, and we'll start by drawing them in where these green lines are located at. And this is going to draw a garage in the upper right-hand side of our site. Make sure that you can see your properties palette, and now select on the picture of the wall underneath architecture. When you do this, you'll see on the type selector list on properties that basic wall 8-inch shows up. It's going to be called generic 8-inch. And if you scroll down on the type selector list, you'll be able to see the variety of different wall types that are currently loaded into this project. Everything that we're looking at in this grouping, they're all underneath basic wall styles. The first one that I want to do is going to be the exterior brick and CMU on a metal stud. This is the wall type at the very top of the list. Click on that to select it, and we're going to draw that in where these green lines are at. Zoom in so that you can see each of those green lines. Make sure that the height up here on the options bar is selected. If you chose depth instead, the walls would go down. Because height is selected, the walls will go up. This warning message is just because I had changed from height to depth and back to height again. Where it has unconnected, change that to be level 3. If we left it at unconnected, we could have typed in the exact height we wanted the wall to go to. By telling it level 3, it means that these walls are going to go up to the level 3 elevation, whatever that is. Location line, it's a wall center line currently, but what that means is that the walls will get drawn directly centered on these green lines. And that's not really what I want to do. I want the outside edges of these walls to be lined up with the green line. Let's choose finish face of exterior. So the outside face of the exterior wall, that's where it's going to line up with. Make sure that chain has a check mark in it. And now see that that line is highlighted. With the line highlighted, come down and click the upper left-hand corner first. Move over. And when you do this, you'll see a temporary dimension going across the top of the screen. Now, we're not going to type in anything here, but I do want to point out that whenever you see that temporary dimension, and we can see it changing its numerical value as I move from one side to the other, whenever you see that, you can type in a dimension, such as 10 feet or 20 feet, and the wall will automatically become that length that you type in. In this case, though, I don't exactly know what the total length of this line is, so I'm just going to come over here and just click at the end of the line. I'm going to continue that process of just clicking all the way around where the green lines are at until I come all the way back to this first endpoint where we first started the walls. And we can see the walls have cleaned up on themselves to have nice, perfectly clean corners. Hit escape a couple of times to get out of the command. Let's take a look at this in 3D. And we can do that by clicking on the little house icon up here at the top of the screen. And it's called Default 3D View. This is currently how they look. Also, if you move your cursor down toward the bottom of the screen, there's a box there that says Visual Style. If you select on that and pick on Shaded, you'll be able to see colors. So you can see it's a red brick as well as a gray CMU block down at the bottom of the walls. Now, I'm going to zoom back out again and now click on the X in the upper right-hand side of the drawing area. After doing that, zoom back out, and now we're going to draw some walls here for the main body of the building. The first wall we're going to do is going to be an exterior wall, and it's going to be for this line right here. To do that, underneath the Architecture tab, once again, select on the picture of the wall. Instead of this wall type, though, we're going to choose another one off of the type selector list, and it's going to be exterior insulation on masonry. Its height, it probably shouldn't go all the way up to level 5, but just for this example, we're going to go ahead and take it all the way on up to level 5 because we can adjust that height later. Change that to be level 5. Location line, that's good. And chain, make sure that it still has a check mark in it. Now, the one thing I do want to change is going to be up here. Before we were drawing this using the line tool, and we could do that exact same thing again by clicking line and then clicking again. But another tool that's available to us, since we already have the line work drawn out, is this tool here called the Pick Lines tool. And if you select on Pick Lines, verify that this information is still the same on the options bar. It should be. Now move down, and then based on which side of the line your cursor is at, you'll see a dashed line. Make sure that dashed line is on the inside of the line, or in this case, that means underneath the line. And when you see that dashed line there, click to place your wall. Over here underneath Properties on the Type Selector list, select where it has the basic wall exterior insulation on masonry, and we're going to choose a different type of wall off the list. It's going to be the generic 8-inch masonry, and we're going to do a few more walls using this wall type. For the height, we're going to leave it at level 5. Move over here to where it has line and just that single dash line going to the left-hand side and click. Do that again in this location. Do that again here at the smaller line at this location. For this line, make sure that the dash line is above it. Same with this line here. Make sure that the dash line is above it. One of the things that you'll notice is that this column, which is an architectural column, is automatically cleaning up with this wall right here. Later on, this wall will get moved away from the column, and when it does, this column will automatically heal itself again, so it will once again be perfectly round. For the next wall that we want to do, move your cursor up and make sure that the dash line is toward the right this time of that line to place that wall in. Now there are 3 more kinds of walls that I want to place in here. There's going to be a wall here, and then a wall here. But I don't want them to be the generic 8-inch masonry. So once again on the type selector list, we're going to be looking for 4 7/8 inch thick wall. This interior 4 7/8 inch partition 1-hour wall will work just fine for us. So select on that. The height, in this case, I only want it to be going up to level 2. It's not going to go all the way up to the roof. So level 2 will work just fine. The location, in this case, let's do it to the inside face of the wall for once. So choose Finish Face of Interior. Make sure that the dash line on this line here that's over on the left-hand side, that the dash line is on the right-hand side of that line, and then click. Do the same thing with this line right here, making sure the dash line's on the right. And with this one, make sure the dash line is on the left. Hit Escape a couple of times to get out of the command. Now, to get a better look at what it is we've drawn, move back up here to the 3D view and select on the default 3D view. And here we can see the different walls that we've drawn in at different elevations. These going up to level 2, this went up to level 3, and these went up to level 5. So to draw in your different basic wall types, you come underneath the Architecture tab, select on the picture of the wall, choose the type of wall that you want off of the list, and then set all the properties related to that type of wall. And by the way, we now have level showing up here just because we're in a 3D view. When you're in a plane view, it automatically assumes the level, so it doesn't give you that option. But you set all the options related to that wall here on the options bar going across the top of the screen.